Oh, this is Arden McLaughlin back with Arden's Chats, and super excited today that I get to introduce you to my friend Melissa Ternes. Did I say it right that time?
Yes.
Oh, look at that. I get so nervous when I say it wrong. So in the pit of my stomach, I'm like, am I going to say it wrong? Am I going to say it wrong? So my friend Melissa and I are in the No Tribe together. That's how we found out about each other. We've been talking back and forth during we've been talking for a while, since the end of last year, just about life and growth and female entrepreneurship and all that kind of stuff. And when it comes to Arden's Chats and providing resources for you guys, I think Melissa is one of the best. We have had some offline conversations about showing up for work. We were having a conversation about money just now, getting your bills paid, making sure people pay you, all the sorts of things. So I just hit record to make sure we capture this for my audience. So Melissa, first and foremost, tell them who you are.
So I am a financial empowerment coach, and I absolutely love talking about all things money, right? That's my space. I love the emotional side of it. I love the strategic side of it. And I really help women walk through the process of combining both strategic and the emotional mindset piece around money so they can move forward.
Okay. What does that mean? The strategic plus the mindset piece.
Okay. So if you think about it, I call it marrying the woo and the do, right? So there's the camp that says, oh, just, get a vision board out, do your vision board, and you're going to make millions. And then there's the other camp that is like, no, you need a budget. You need, I call it the 800 calorie for your money diet, right?
Yeah.
It becomes, so you have these two kind of competing sides. One is saying, oh, just vision board your way there. And the other is saying, no, you have to restrict everything. You have to deprive yourself, cut up your credit cards, and you go on this yo-yo diet for your money.
Mm-hmm.
But you need parts of both of those to actually walk forward and be empowered in your money, right?
That's so interesting.
Right? Because we can see the diet part doesn't work.
No.
Right? Because we feel deprived, we feel restricted. And then we, of course, you can't tell me what to do. And online shop was what we do right now because we can't actually go to a store to shop. And so it becomes the rebellion piece. And then if we're just looking at the vision side of it, we're not necessarily taking any action.
Okay.
Right?
That's interesting.
You have to pair the two.
Well, because when I did many years ago, my dad made me do Dave Ramsey because Dave Ramsey was being offered at our church. And I still have the hardest time with it because I feel guilty for having debt. So a year or two ago, I cut up all my credit cards. And then somebody was like, well, you have to use the credit cards to build credit. That's why your credit's so low. And I'm like, okay, so I have low credit because I don't have credit cards. That doesn't make any sense to me. So then I feel guilty because I'm in debt and I can't pay it. And now I'm like, I'm not getting paid because that's what it turns into. So I love that you gotta do, because I'm a doer. The woo stuff, I mean, I right now I'm envisioning millions of dollars sitting in my living room, piled up, stacks, all one. So I can just roll around in them. There are no ones in my living room whatsoever, right? So I can't wrap my head around that. But I do like that idea of like, well, what's your mindset behind it? So the typical, since you probably work a lot more with women, do men, I have a question about this first. How do men feel about the mindset part? Because all my male friends are like, woo, girl, just get you some money.
Right? And I think it depends, right? Okay. It depends on what their experience has been with it. A lot of times when woo is put out there, you think of this, you can probably picture this as I say it. There's a woman, she's standing on a cliff and she has this flowy thing going behind her, right? You can picture it, right?
Yes.
That's what men typically, like instant reaction, that's what they see when they see woo, right? It's somebody who is like, oh, they're just out there in their own little world. And they're not paying any attention to any of that.
Okay.
But part of the woo side of it is, what's the emotion, right? What's the emotion behind it, right? So when you were talking, because I have an undergraduate in accounting, a master's in business. I was running a $50 million budget at work to the penny. And I had $75,000 in what I call random things debt, right? That was, I love the look. Same look I get all the time.
Yeah.
Wasn't my mortgage, wasn't a car payment, wasn't student loans. It was stuff. I used just stuff, like I like stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I like to travel. I like stuff, right? And in that process, I used Dave Ramsey to get out of debt. And what I realized is that's a slice, right? That is dealing with the issue at hand. It didn't do anything about how or why I got there.
Exactly.
Right? So I dealt with this one slice, and then I started working with clients. And that was 11 years ago. And it was like, okay, we have to bring in this piece, because we didn't deal with how we got or why we got into debt. Because very rarely is debt a space of, I had this one event happen and everything crumbled. It's a series of events. It's a lifestyle. It's a mindset. It's emotions. It's all that comes in.
Yeah.
Occasionally you get somebody who has a medical event that causes it, or a job loss that causes it. But there was a series of events even before the job loss that was in place and taking action. So when we start looking at all the pieces, we have to look at the emotional side, right? Most men are typically not, it's like, yep, Melissa, that's nice. And it's like, yes, and there's an emotion under that. And when we can look at, I feel guilty because I have more than someone else, or I feel guilty because, this is going on. I feel guilty. I was on a call this morning, and there were several women on there that said, I feel guilty because I'm not affected by this. I'm not being affected by this. And to just own that you put yourself in a position over years of work for this not to affect you, and simultaneously your job didn't let you go, right? Which is nothing you can control, but you did all of these things, and then to feel guilty out of that instead of saying, hey, I did the things that I needed to do, and you can be proud of yourself in that, right? It's okay. And so when we start to look at the emotions, and that guilt emotion left unchecked means that I am going out to every small business owner and, dumping money everywhere I can because I feel guilty for having when someone else doesn't.
Yeah.
And that unchecked causes another issue.
Yeah.
You were okay, but now I feel guilty because all these people don't have and I do have.
Yeah.
And then I create my own issue.
So interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. Just so hopefully this is going to be an evergreen product. But right now, whoever's watching this, we are in the middle of COVID-19. Everything's shut. Literally, everything is shut down. A lot of people are acting in fear. Small businesses are. The first couple of weeks, everyone was like, shop small, and I'm going, I'm small. Don't forget about me, right? Like the PR person giving you all sorts of things. And so there was a lot of like, guys, there's a lot of anger. I felt a lot of anger. Now it's, oh, you must be fine. I don't need to pay you yet, kind of stuff. And I'm just like, there's so much fear that it's affecting all of us. No matter what, like I'm looking at my bank account just like everyone else is, and I'm like, okay, somebody's gonna have to, I'm giving you guys breaks, but someone's gonna have to come through, right? Like, and I think this is something that happens all the time. I'm having to check my mind of like, all right, let me apply for this. And you know what else it taught me to do was I was like, I'm okay. So I'm not going to apply for any of these government assistant programs.
Okay.
And then I started looking, and for full transparency, I'm owed right now about $4,000.
Yep.
just right now. That's an
Yep.
outstanding bills. I sure as heck better apply for those because
Yep.
I don't know what's coming. So if I'm owed $4,000 right now, it could be $8,000 in a month. I sure as heck apply for those. And I want to encourage anyone who's watching. There's YouTube videos out there. No did a group. Go tomorrow. We can apply for the like PPP, that paycheck payroll one.
Yep.
Go apply for that. Look for ways. Do not let your, as women, "Oh, I don't need it, so I'm just going to let someone else have it." Do not let that stop you.
Right.
Also,
And I think the major thing, because my attorney sent bulk email to everybody.
yeah,
And he said, you need to go apply.
yeah,
Right. And part of this is, looking at the bigger picture, right? It may be, yes, I'm owed this much money, but are they going to pay you? Right. And then if they don't, are you putting yourself in jeopardy because of a space of saying, oh, I don't need this, I'm good. I don't want them to think something about me at the bank when I go down to apply.
yeah.
Right. I was just on the phone with my banker right before we got on the call and said, we are going to do the PPP.
Yeah.
Because as long as you spend that money on payroll, it's forgiven.
Yeah.
So it makes no sense to not take advantage of that, right? If it means that the difference in whether you make it through this or not, and you're having that moment of like, well, I don't want them to think something of me. If you can just bring that fear down to, I'm doing what's going to take care of me.
Yeah.
So that I don't end up upside down.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was just like, I have a couple people on my payroll and I want to be able to take care of them. And I also have me on my payroll.
Right.
First and foremost, I'm on my payroll. And we need to do that. And I think that's where, so what do we have to do? Do we have to go to go to the bank and have them apply for us?
So you go to SBA.gov.
Yeah.
Right. There's an application form to fill out, and then there's the information that they need. Right. So when I was talking to my banker, it was the detailed annual and monthly payroll reports, all of that data from 2019.
Okay.
And then any health insurance premiums, any of those things, and having all the records for that. She's sending me an email. Talk to her over the phone. It is going to be an electronic filing. So I will send her all the stuff because we're not going into banks right now. And so everything is, apply, send all the information, check your bank to see if they are doing it. Right? Because if not, you need to find a different place to go. Most of them are in the process of being approved. First Citizens Bank said it would be Monday. So it starts Friday.
Till tomorrow. So if you guys are watching it April 2nd, it's not live until April 3rd. I've been checking out all the stuff.
But it is take advantage of it quickly, right?
Yes.
Because you want to be in the group that gets to take advantage of it and is not left behind because you dilly-dallied and, the money has been used. Yeah. The money has been, given out.
Yeah. Okay. So once we get this money, what are your opinion, because I've got my opinions, what are good ways to spend it? And I was with someone the other day that's like, you don't say good or bad food. I'm like, well, we're talking good or bad now. What are good ways to spend this money? What are bad ways to spend this money?
So first of all, if you get the PPP, it can only be spent on payroll. The payroll part is the part that they are definitely forgiving. And then I think they said up to 25%. All of this is changing. So, kind of go back and look. But that can only be spent on payroll. But once you pay yourself, right? And that's the key part is if you don't pay payroll out of it, it just turns into a loan and it is not forgiven.
Got it. Okay.
Right. So key, pay yourself. And then out of what you are paying yourself, look at, and I've told my clients this, look at cash flow, right? We want to conserve our cash. So we're paying minimums on anything that we can pay minimums on.
Yep.
Right? So if you have credit card debt right now, we're paying the minimum. We're calling those companies and saying, can you reduce my interest rate? We're calling and saying, can you, defer my payment? Any of those kind of things that you can do. And in any of those conversations, we are mentioning specifically COVID-19. It has impacted my ability to manage my financial obligations.
Yeah.
That's the key word, and it opens up a door where they're talking to you in a different thing. Yeah. If you don't say that, they can't tell you to say that to offer the things that they're offering. So this has impacted my financial ability to take care of my obligations.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you have a mortgage, calling and asking, hey, can I put this on hold for 3 months? Will it be? And then the next important questions are, will it be tacked on at the end? Or in 3 months, am I going to owe a balloon payment? Which means you would owe 3 months all of a sudden. Woo! But, right? Yeah. So it's asking the questions and getting all the details. If you can put something on hold, that's great. If you can lower an interest rate, it's a great time to do that. Yep. If you have the ability to do a 0% or a very low percent balance transfer to consolidate what you have into a smaller amount, that's a good thing. Okay. But then being wise about what you're actually spending, right? Yes. And the big piece here is right now we're confined. We're needing all of this. And I know you and I have talked about it before, the dopamine hit. Yeah. Right. So when we shop, we get a dopamine hit. Mm-hmm. Right. We go out, it's the chase, it's the, I want that outfit in pink, and it is, or I want that pair of shoes, or I want whatever that is. Right now it could be a new monitor, right? I'm looking at a tiny screen. I want a new monitor. Whatever it is, your brain gets a dopamine hit off of that purchase. Mm-hmm. And as soon as you purchase it, the dopamine falls off, which means in not very long, your body is going to be saying, I want to feel good again. Dopamine makes me feel good. Oh, you get a hit of dopamine when you go shopping. And then suddenly you're like, why am I thinking about like a new pair of heels when I'm not wearing shoes because I'm at home?
I know.
Right? But you're in this and you're like, am I crazy? Like, I can't quit thinking about that pair of heels. And it's like, but when you can step back from it and realize, okay, that's my body calling for a dopamine hit. Mm-hmm. Can I go out and, run around the block and get that feel good? What can I do to shift from getting the dopamine hit from whether it's shopping, whether it's food, whether it's alcohol, right? All of those are like well on the table right now. Yeah. Right. And really we're all at home alone.
Right. And it's really making me nervous. I'm going to be honest, like all of these, and I'm not judging them. I'm prefacing this with not judging them, but like everyone's having wine nights. Everyone's doing, and I'm just like, I'm really excited about my workout groups. I'm really excited. It's making me a little bit nervous that is becoming
it's an outlet.
And that's becoming another fallout because I'm really encouraging because it's still a cost, right? Like you're still paying. And if you're shopping local, like I tried to order some food today that I was like, oh, I love this particular shop in town. And I was like, I haven't eaten yet. I'll order a bagel and an omelet. It was to be delivered. It was going to cost me $20. I was like, no, I will starve before I pay $20 for a bagel and an egg. Like, things like this, we have to be paying attention to. Like, okay, is there something else we can be doing? And I'm not judging these. Everyone is doing this. Right. I'm just saying, be careful. Start adding up. How much are you spending on going out to eat? How much are you spending on every wine night? How much are you spending on like whatever? it might not be clothes anymore. It might not be the $4,000 bag, but is it all still adding up to, at the end of this, you're still in some kind of trouble? And Elizabeth Vargas was a great example of drinking herself into alcoholism. I mean, worst case scenario again, but just things that are starting to prick with me that are making me do a little jump. How about you?
And I think that's the space of, we're trying to, renegotiate what normal is.
Yeah.
And so we've taken off the bounds of, like, how much is it okay to drink or drink every night? And again, it's not about the drinking right now. No. I was listening to the radio the other day, and the lady on there was saying that she had gained 4 pounds in a day. Right. And it's like, okay, because we're not used to being, I'm used to being at home. I'm used to being in my home office, but for people that this is a new normal, you've got kids that are at home now, that you're homeschooling, you're trying to do your job. If you have a spouse, a partner, they're home, and it's like chaos just entered.
Yeah.
And how we deal with this chaos is what it's going to look like on the other side. And so I think it is important to call out, like, are we having wine parties every single night? And we might have been someone who drank once a week.
Right.
And looking at, okay, is that how I'm managing? Is it that mine was, I made banana bread the other night. I don't ever make banana, but the bananas were going bad. And you know what? I was going to use them.
Well, yes. Yeah. Because you and I are very conservative people. Like, whatever's, we're like dumping out of we're the ones that go into the refrigerator and like, what's left that's going bad, that's for dinner. Like,
right. Exactly. And so it was like, but I'm like, okay, that's, that's 2 loaves of banana bread.
Yeah.
That's not what we would normally consume.
No.
And so, like, taking that pause and saying, okay, how am I feeling? And giving yourself the space, right, to say, I'm feeling guilty because I have and other people don't. Am I making good? I put everything in the terms of, it's either in alignment with what I want or it's in violation.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Every purchase is either in alignment or it's in violation. And it doesn't have to do with the object itself, because one day the object could be in alignment.
This is such a good picture I have to take in. Sorry, keep talking.
And one day it might be violation.
Yeah.
So we have to look at and see, is it in alignment or in violation? And as we look at our feelings, is this guilty feeling making me make choices that are in alignment with what I want out of life? Or is it in violation to everything I've worked for?
Yeah.
Right? Having the wine every night, am I dealing with the feelings? Because right now we need to grieve. Right? We need to grasp that there's a huge disappointment.
Yeah.
Right. I had a retreat that was supposed to be last weekend, and it was virtual.
Yeah.
And it was great. And it was very sad.
Yeah.
Because I'm a people person. I'm a, like, I want to hug you. I want to be in your presence. I want to feel your energy.
Yeah.
And so it was great, and it was sad. And had I ignored the sad feelings, I'm likely to go out and do something, do some online shopping.
Yeah.
Everything's on sale everywhere. Everybody's got a deal, and it's all in your inbox.
Oh my God, so much.
Right? And so we have to deal with the feelings that come up, and then look at that and the money piece. Am I willing to pay $20 for an egg and a bagel?
No.
But
that's another thing. Like, look at your bill. Like, just click this when you're shopping local and everyone's delivering to you and you're getting the pressure. Make sure you look at it before you buy. Because in no way, shape, or form, I've been to this place a million times, and that's like a $7 breakfast, right? Like, because it's a big old egg, and like, it's a full meal. It was going to last me all day, and I was like, but I'm not paying $20. But I do think, I was with Jen Gittimer this morning, and we were talking about making sales and still spending money. I still think we need to be spending money. Yes. I am encouraging people to spend money on investing in themselves. I'm trying to hold classes at a much reduced price, right? Like, I'm doing a class next 2 weeks from now, and it's like $297, and we're going to sell it after the class for $997. Like, that's how good it is. But for right now, it's a $297 product because we want as many people on it. I've got my communication strategy, $250. That's normally, like, I'm probably going to give anyone that wants, I'm going to give them a $50 code to come in. Again, feeding, that is my communication plans are $1,000 hands down. But if I do them in a group and part of the session, I want to be able to provide people. You need to be, you're going to get some money. That's where I was like, should we not be investing in ourselves a little bit right now?
And I think that's the thing with the clients I have that are coaches, or, you know, they're like, I'm afraid to ask for money right now. And what I'm telling people is, I'm not afraid to tell someone right now, if you have money issues, the best time for us to work together is right now.
Yeah.
Because we're going to fix it here. We're not waiting 2 months or 6 months until it's a disaster.
Yeah.
We're fixing it right now. Right.
Yeah.
And the thing that all of us need to remember is this is going to pass.
Yeah.
And how are we setting ourselves up in this moment for 60 days from now or 90 days from now? Because if we look back to the recession of 2008, 2009, there were companies that were prepared coming out of that took off.
Yeah.
And did incredibly well. So are you positioning yourself to take off, right? And that's not discounting that there's a lot going on now. We need to process the grief over what's not happening over Q1, all of our Q1 goals being out the window. Q2 goals are out the window.
Yeah.
But how do we look at, how are we positioning mid Q2 to be the space where we are ready and we have taken everything off, especially with what you do, right? I need to know how do I communicate what I do?
Right.
And I need to know how to communicate that at, you know, we're coming out, they're letting us be in groups of 10 again. They're letting us be in groups of 20 again. How do I communicate that? How do I start getting that press?
Yeah.
Even how do I start getting that press today?
Yeah, girl.
Because right now, people are hungry for anything that's not Corona.
So how can they find you? How can somebody come work with you right now?
Right now.
Yeah.
Easiest way to get a hold of me is masteryourmoneynow.com. Top right corner, you can book a time on my calendar. I will talk to anyone for 30 minutes about money. You know, no questions asked. I just need to talk to you, Melissa. And that's where we can look and see, is what I do appropriate for you?
Yeah.
Or can I just give you some tips and you're good to go? That's the easiest way. And it's one of those, I think the hardest thing to do is to book the time.
Yeah.
And the second hardest thing to do is answer the phone when I call.
Yeah.
But understanding I've been there and I have all the degrees that go with it that say I should have known how to do it.
Yeah.
Been there, done that, got the t-shirt, the trophy, all of that.
Yeah.
So masteryourmoneynow.com and just book a session. You can email me, any of those things. So, but get some time on my calendar and we can talk through whatever it is that's going on. And being mindful, I think, of everyone's situation is unique. And your money situation is unique. So when you're listening to everybody, you need to distill it down and what makes sense for you.
Yeah. I think that's smart. All right. This was so good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. I'm going to put her link at the bottom in the YouTube. You guys get in touch with her. See you on it.
Thank you.